And welcome back, everybody. Terhook got that dog in him. I think that's the gist of the conversation that we were just having. Yeah, so welcome back to episode 2 of Pirates of Veth'Arden. So, to start it out, let's just go over a recap. So, in the realm of Granheim, where endless sands meet two vast oceans, an adventure begins to unfold. To the west turn the tempestuous Arashi depths, while the gleaming promise of the Greycroft stretches far to the east. The land of stark contrast was ruled by several factions: the Vorkal Sultanate, the Al-Muridaxan contingent, the Dominion of Kafka, and the hardy folk of Zahin's Landing. Though this story centers on the port city of Al-Hajjad, where brass dome spires rose above sandstone streets teeming with traders and artisans. In a weathered tavern called the Drowned Sailor, fate brought together an unlikely crew. Azric, a man cast off from the howling tempest; Sai, guided by visions from the Night Mother; Darian, fleeing from his circus life; Terhook, a holy warrior on a mission; and Dr. Desmond Leach, running from the law. Through a peculiar turn of events, they acquired a ship from a gang called the Scary Boots Gang, the most dangerous pirates on all of the docks of Al-Hajjad. The transaction involved a bit of gold, some daggers, magic stones, and some snacks. The ship, originally named the Axebeak but crudely renamed the Star of the Scary Boots Gang, became our party's new home for the time being. As they set sail northeast towards Milas, the inexperienced crew struggled with a few basic sailing tasks. Sai and Terhook suffering some rope burns, while Darian managed to injure himself showing off with a dagger trick, though the doctor managed to tend to their wounds. The journey to Milas will take 7 days, giving everyone time to learn seamanship a bit more and become acquainted. Further investigation on the interior of the ship, they found some disturbing secrets, documents linking Dr. Desmond Leach to the slave trading operation that were mentioned in the documents. Whether Mr. Leach was aware of where these people that he was taking care of were coming from or not, as well as maps marking mysterious locations like Glassfire Cove and Val's Mercy, and a magical ring tied to the ancient Ashen Oath fire worshippers of Zahin's Landing. The ship's true deed, registered to Captain Thalen Morex, bore a seal containing a bit of void glass, an illegal substance from Zahin's Landing. Sai's inspection revealed the vessel needed significant repairs, while Azric managed to recognize various of the territories marked on the recovered maps. And as night fell on the first day at sea, the newly formed crew now ponders the implications of their discoveries and the adventure that lay ahead. So, jumping into things here, let's pull you guys over here. There we go, and we can see the whole ship. So, last we left off, you all had finished your investigation of the captain's quarters. Mr. Desmond Leach, Dr. Desmond Leach, went to go take a nap for certain real-life circumstances. And now we find ourselves out at sea. It's late into the night, so if there's anything specific you guys wanted to do before we have you guys sleep for the night. I will say, especially on a sailing vessel that requires actual steering and cognition of direction, somebody will have to maintain being awake throughout. Whether you guys do that in shifts or not is up to you, but just let me know what you guys would like to do.
The first one to wake up, since I've already been asleep.
You are really, really quiet, Para.
I said, I assume I'm the one on like the very first shift since I was the one who was asleep first. So I gotta be the first one that wakes up to like do the in the night. And I'll just assume that was the reason why I was doing
it. 10-4.
And for no other reason.
Okay. So before shifts are taken and everything, what is the plan for you guys currently?
Well, at least when it comes to their hook, he does want to talk to Desmond, but seeing as Desmond is napping still.
You can wait.
Where is he?
He's in a hammock.
Oh.
Just knock him over.
So, in character, I don't believe Sai would necessarily want people who have never been on a ship or sailed a ship to be alone with the ship. So, she's going to talk to Azric about maybe taking shifts 2 at a time, and one shift staying up through half the night together, and then she and another person stay up the other half of the night together, and then keep it going that way until everybody's comfortable manning the ship.
I'd agree to that. With one of us 3 being the ones always awake, since Mr. Darien knows roughly how to pilot a ship right now. Without sinking it, at least.
Yeah, he hasn't run any obstacle courses, but what are the odds of their obstacles being in the way in the middle of the ocean?
Yeah, what are the odds of that? That would never happen.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah, he can steer the ship, but can he navigate?
After last time we played, I'm not sure any of you can navigate.
Yeah, our best navigator sending us to a crash course to Kozaka. So.
Also, realizing that the land isn't there anymore, I'm definitely gonna know that we're going the wrong fucking way.
Yep.
That'll happen
Yeah,
next morning.
looking around, like I said at the end of the game last time, as you come back out of the captain's quarters, the land is nowhere in sight. So your direction is definitely straight off course of what was intended.
I'd be turning us around-ish to where, one, you could tell which direction we're going because of the sun. So I know what direction we still need to roughly go, but also behind us is the land. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Go ahead and roll a survival check. Somebody can aid you for advantage. If they have some... There you go. 22. Yeah. Looking at the positioning of the sun as it's setting and the area around you, you manage to pretty confidently write your course. Not necessarily adding any time to your journey, but you are definitely further out at sea than you originally had intended. But you are now coursed in the correct direction and will probably see land by morning in the distance.
That's good. Very, very good.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Okay.
One.
So, you guys are going to be rotating throughout the night for who is sailing and who is sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. What are your shifts? What do they look like?
It would be... First, it would be Azric and Perhook.
Okay.
And then Sai and Darien.
All right. Is anyone claiming specific quarters or?
Yeah. captain's quarters.
Captain Quarter right there.
And being a sized female, probably wouldn't
Yeah.
want to sleep with everybody else in
Nope.
hammocks.
Yep.
So then we all get to sleep at the hammocks. Daruk likes the corner, so he's gonna take it. No.
Unfortunately,
Okay. Unfortunately, Darian took it.
unfortunately,
So I guess he has to
Darian,
fight.
quick as a flash, jumps into the farthest hammock in the corner. This one's mine.
If you would like that, then I shall happily oblige. And
Just
Daruk's
pull-
just gonna take. He's just gonna take the middle one.
Just
If
pull
this
one
was
side
Riven-
and dump him onto the ground.
If this was Riven, it would have been a different story.
Well, you two aren't sleeping at the same time anyways, so
Terhook, you're on the first shift. Terhook
I
goes to
know.
bed, Azric.
It's gonna be like, yeah.
tonight we're teaching you how to sail.
And I guess I'm just sleeping through the night all nice. Hell yeah, let's go.
Okay.
All right. So
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna.
Para
teach me
missed the
ropes.
whole thing where me and Terhook do not currently trust Desmond.
Oh yeah. There's a
No, I
reason.
went back and watched it, so like I know about it now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's good.
But I don't know about it. You know what?
Right. Not yet.
He just knows. He just doesn't know about.
As long as you know as a player, that's better.
So,
All right. I would do my best to gain any knowledge that you wish to partake.
Well, first we're gonna have to teach you how to sail a ship. So, you're taking the wheel.
All right. And he takes the wheel.
We're going to spend most of our shipped learning how to at least somewhat navigate and how to steer.
for sure.
Yep. And to not just take those sudden turns.
So, I guess let's start with, first of all, finding out how good of a teacher Azric is.
Let's see.
So, Azric, you have received quite a bit of training and knowledge as far as sailing is concerned. But as we all know, some people are just not good teachers. I guess, oh man, how would we determine this just as a base?
Charisma saving throw?
A charisma saving throw?
Mean-
I will let you roll.
Intimidation?
Intimidation. Persuasion.
I would like you to roll like with either your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma modifier, and you can add your proficiency bonus. So your proficiency bonus is 2.
So at 12?
12. All right, and Terhook, please roll an insight check.
Okay. Let's see. Make sure I have it and normal. Okay.
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 He's
Okay.
picking up what I'm putting down.
He just fills in the blanks.
Um. How? As the sun is setting, and you pull Terhook over to the wheel, and everyone else starts going to bed, the wind tugs at the sails and the rigging begins to creak as the ship is cutting through a few swells with surprising grace for the damage that the vessel has. You pull Terhook over, and as you kind of try to explain to Terhook how to sail this vessel, I feel like maybe Azric is one of those people who explains things like, you gotta feel it. It's with like a boom and a flash and something that you understand completely, Azric, but most people would not. However, Terhook, you begin to get the gist of it, and as you feel the weight of the ship, you can kind of feel the wheel tug against you as waves are crested, and as the ship kind of bobs through the water with the wind at your back. And you are getting the hang of it. You are nowhere near an expert, but even Azric, as you watch Terhook, he is definitely like adjusting to the weight of the ship and starting to understand how this functions and how it leads to point the ship in the right direction, at least with the wind at your back.
I think I understand what you mean by feeling. As he just like tries to.
It's all in the wind, friend.
It's the wind. It's the wind. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of simple now. You explain it to me like that. I thought it was a bit more complex, but it's as long as I keep in mind about the wind and just not make any sudden turns, I think I
Remember
should
this?
be all right.
The sea is fickle. The waves are not rough right now. If we was sailing in a storm, it would be far worse.
Oh well, if we're sailing a storm, then I really, really do hope that you would take the wheel, because I'd rather not die in such a way, you know. In
I
fact,
don't think I'd be comfortable anybody else steering in a storm just yet.
well, that's why we're practicing, no? To get better, and that way you won't have to do all the work. Because even now, I feel ashamed in my own honor that you're doing everything for us.
We'll get everybody trained up soon enough.
That is what I hope.
We'll
But
make it through yet.
sometimes, this world doesn't let us adapt as quickly as we would like. That's something that I am really well used to, having to learn on the go. But either way, since we're out here, Azric, and he's gonna lower his voice. So what do you think we should do about our good doctor friend?
Well, there are usually two sides to every story. I'd hate
I
to
agree.
condemn him just yet, but I'd at least like to hear his piece first before we just throw him overboard.
Then I dare suggest throwing a man overboard like that, based on he or she say.
Of course, we'll at least tie up his feet first.
Well, then well, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I rather, even the good doctor has his own little quirks. I'd rather not think the worst of him just yet. Though I've had heard stories of his peculiar nature, but I'd rather not base myself on stories, but rather on their actions.
Just
And
hope
that's
you
why I
either
wanted
had
to ask.
ask.
Well, I just wasn't sure if you wanted to keep this for a little longer to see how he acts, or if you'd rather just talk to him either tomorrow or soon.
I'd at least like to talk to him before we reach the next port.
All right, if you don't mind, I'd like to stay. I would like to be in the same room as you when you do talk to him, just so I can look him in the eye and see if there's anything that he would rather not tell us, such as lying or being deceitful.
It's much harder to lie when faced with a group of people.
And that we agree, my friend, and that we agree. But yeah, I did want to talk to you about that, and talk to you about that I did. So hopefully hopefully the night will be calm, and there will be no need for any urgencies just yet. And Taruk's just gonna take another breath and just continue to just focus on steering.
All right.
Okay, so I need you guys to roll perception checks for me.
Perception.
Perception. Okay. Oh
Ooh.
boy.
I didn't see shit.
Okay.
We're not even on a boat.
Oh, we
He
see
ain't
absolutely
shit
nothing.
either.
As you guys move through the waves, night falls, stars begin to fill the skies. Everything is quiet. That's one thing about the sea, is once you get in the motion of it and far away from the ports where the pollution of noise and light is no longer there to inundate your senses, you can see for miles. The pleasant crash of waves against the hull of the ship as it rocks and trails through him. It's a bit of peace that is welcomed by most sailors. And unlike the Howling Tempest, where there could have been raucous parties or conversation on the deck or things happening at all times, the ship is much smaller, your crew is much smaller, and most of them are asleep. But it is a pleasant bit of sailing for the first part of this night. So who are you guys waking up? Actually, before you guys wake anyone up, is there anything else you two want to do, specifically while you're the only two awake?
Tarhuk is if Azric is giving Tarhuk like a chance to catch his breath and take charge of the wheel. In those instances, Azric would notice Tarhuk just jotting a few things down in a journal.
And while we're switching on and off, I'd also want to come down and actually check the cargo in the hold to see what all this ship happens to have within it. Making sure that we're not accidentally smuggling some bullshit.
Okay. So
in prison for life.
as Tarhuk manages sailing, you're going to head down and begin checking out the interior?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you go down there, I want to jump over. So, as the axe beak rocks gently upon the sea, the creaking of the old timbers begin to harmonize with the sigh of the ocean winds. Most of the crew sleeping, some in cots, though some in more accommodating circumstances, lulled by the rhythm of the waves. Sigh drifting in sleep, your dreams twist and curl with shadows usually not your own. The comforting cold of Umbria seems distant, and then a chorus, faint at first, rises like the hush before a storm, growing sharper with every beat of your heart. Forgotten. Trapped. No time, no light, no air. Left us. Sai, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Always.
20. The murmurs fill your ears. What do you do as you begin to hear these whispers and murmurs?
How long have I been asleep?
A couple hours.
I'm going to wake up a little bit to make sure that I'm not dreaming. And I'm going to say in Abyssal, what was that?
The murmurs fill your ears more clearly as you ask that. There's a stillness. The voices become clear, distinct. Feelings of confusion, of worry, of fear. You begin to see flashes. A bloody hand sealing the hold. Cruel smiles of men loading crates. A green shimmer clinging to barrels. He said it would be painless. Now fully awake, Sai, you feel the tug of the veil coming from below you.
Like below me, as in the ship below me?
Somewhere below you. You hear again. He locked the hatch. We're still inside. Morex. Cowards. Let us die.
Bots. Oh. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up and wipe the sleep from my eyes and put my boots on and find my way down to see if I can see something or glean something with my power.
It's about this time, as you exit your cabin, that Azric, you would be heading down towards the lower deck.
Like I'm already going to be down in there as she's coming out?
You see her exiting her cabin.
Oh. Well, it's not quite time for a swap over yet.
She jumps in the ocean.
Your door was
Yep,
that
there he
movie
goes. I'm like, what?
The voices drove me crazy, and that's the end of Sai.
Your
Without
door
perception,
right
we'll be
here.
able to help you.
Not time for swapping yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had a, is Taruk standing behind me still? Like
Yeah,
at
he's
the,
at the wheel.
okay.
Yeah, I have the wheel. Who's
So
at the wheel?
I'm going to look back, as I was about to tell Azric the truth. And then clear my throat and go, I had a thought, and it woke me up, and I just needed to check something in the cargo hold.
Check something in the cargo holds.
Yeah.
Well, premonitions are fickle things, I guess. Just
Could the
happen to be
hook
going there
notice?
myself.
Does the hook notice like Sai acting a bit shifty or no?
Okay. And you said performance or deception?
I think that the other people, Terhuk and Adric, would see through any facade you are currently trying to put up, Sai. So can you explain what they see in your demeanor?
Um, she looks a bit worried. But she looks like she's trying to have a stony face about it.
So,
Well,
you
if you
guys... Oh, go ahead.
see that, I know Derek's gonna be like, well, we all have our troubles, you know. But if you really do want to talk, I'd rather not be a bother, you know. So if if I think if you want to take the wheel for a bit, then I can go down below so you two can talk. I have
Um,
no issue doing that.
I need to go down below.
Okay then. I will be at the wheel. And if you need anything, I am here to help. And he just gives her a smile. I will not.
Right. Anyway, shall we?
Shall we then?
And Azadik, please let me know if there's anything below deck, because, well, you know. As he just gives him the side eye.
Not to worry, Tahuk. Up in the hole. Going down.
Okay.
Whee! Imagine there's a slide.
We should install a slide. And a like firefighter pole.
How much would that
Now
cost?
remember, sleeping ears still listen. As I start to poke around.
Sai's gonna quirk an eyebrow to him because she's surprised that he is okay with her keeping her secrets.
Secrets don't make friends. Friends make secrets. Okay, so as you all make your way down to the hold, the stairs or the ladder creaks with each step, descending into a bit of a claustrophobic chamber. Or do either of you have a lantern, or are you both relying on dark vision? There is a lantern on the table.
Yeah, sure. I'll grab the lantern off the table.
Okay. So as you light the lantern, it lights the area around you in the chamber. A bit of moonlight from the half-sealed hatch above kind of comes down into the interior as well. You see dust motes dancing in the stale air, and the smell of old salt and mildew, something you're accustomed to, both of you actually, with the amount of time that Azric spent throughout his life and the amount of time that Sai just spent on a fairly long journey. And beneath all of these smells, there's this metallic smell. Lining the dim interior of the hold, you see towards the bow 4 large crates stacked on top of each other, nailed shut and marked with fading ink. There's one open crate nearby, no lid on it. And then 4 barrels sealed towards the bow also, with faint scorch marks blackening the wood at the bottom edges. Sai, you feel a tug in the back of your mind, a buzz, like muffled voices caught behind glass. And then finally, just to the right of, or left, if you're facing them, of the open crate, you see 3 more crates, with one standing out. A heavy-duty iron-bound crate, double-latched and reinforced, resting lower than the others as if weighted by something. The other 2 appear to be locked, but not as nearly as fortified. And Sai, you hear this whisper, faint, curling in the edges of your periphery. Don't let them burn us again. Locked in. Voices on the deck, fighting.
I won't let them hurt you, she's going to say softly under her breath.
What are you 2 doing?
Speaking in common?
Abyssal.
Does Azric know Abyssal?
Yeah.
I guess I put like, yeah.
I guess, would I hear her?
It is a fairly enclosed chamber. And you guys
we're
are standing
not that
pretty
far
close
apart.
together. Yeah.
Yep.
Azric's just gonna grin a little bit as he continues to search.
Alright, what are you guys looking through first? Like I said, there's the 4 stacked crates towards the front of the bow, as well as the 1 open crate already, and then the 4 barrels sealed at the front of the bow, and then you have the 3 crates that Azric is currently standing next to with the heavy-duty iron-bound one.
Sai is going to touch the ironbound one and say in Abyssal, show me what happened.
So, are you using your Speak Beyond the Veil?
Let me reread what all it does
Okay.
real quick. Yes.
Okay. As you reach out, you're towards the ironbound one.
Yes.
You feel yourself being pulled in, but there's something blocking you. Whether there's something different about the chest that is not allowing you to have a good connection, you'll probably have to open the chest to fully utilize your innate abilities.
Okay. Guys, I think he really wants me to open this goddamn chest.
What could possibly go wrong?
Is it locked or is it just closed?
It is locked. It is clasped and bound with a heavy metal lock.
Okay.
If only we had a rogue.
If only.
Well, the key could also be on the ship still. There's something in here. I can feel it. She's going to say in common to Azric.
Something in there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I think this is the root of my premonition.
Can you open it?
It's locked.
Or should we
Maybe the key's in the captain's quarters?
we search the captain's quarters?
No keys?
I do not believe so. I could double check my notes, but I don't think so.
You did not find any keys in the
Nope,
captain's
no
quarters.
keys.
Hmm.
I will note a few more investigations of the captain's quarters might not be a bad idea, just in case there was anything hidden, but you did not find any keys in there.
We can always search again.
I guess you can keep looking through the crates. And I will go see if there's the key.
That's fine.
Alright.
If we can't find the key, we can always wake up the rabbit.
Or I can also try my hand at it. I've become quite adept with such things. Never thought I'd say that. I shall return, and she's going to go search the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Adept at picking locks, refuses to pick a lock. Will we ever be pirates?
She's not quite that confident. She's only been doing it for 3 months.
I'm gonna start popping barrels and shit while she's
Got it.
like, not all the
Azric's-
barrels, but
Azric's like, let me just do some pirate stuff. Pops open
I'm
barrels.
gonna start looking through the other shit while she's going to look for keys.
Yeah, immediately as you touch one of the barrels, you see the blackened wood at the edges of where you would open this barrel. A similar residue that you found on the letter in the captain's quarters. A void glass residue.
This is not good.
Do you open one of the barrels?
I'm gonna open one of the barrels.
Okay, so as you kind of pry the barrel open, looking inside, the wood itself is warped and swollen with moisture. And you see the darkened void glass streaks where stuff has been seeping out. As you grip the iron banding and crack the lid free, a soft hiss escapes as the pressure releases. You creak the lid back, and there it is, void glass, but not refined. Not crystalline, not the trace dust sometimes smuggled in pouches. This is raw, a thick, semi-viscous black ooze-like material resting like tar in a pit, shifting ever so slightly with a rhythm that is not its own. It doesn't reflect the light coming from your lantern, it almost swallows it. There's an unsettling shimmer like starlight through oil. Beneath the surface, faint threads of violet and blood-red veins writhe lazily, unbidden by unnatural forces. The material's bubbles once slowly, and a pulse of something cold presses against your skull for a moment.
Putting that lid back on.
Okay. This is, with this amount, this is very dangerous. Not just to be transporting because it's illegal, but also if like somebody were to like touch this stuff, like it could seep into their skin. It is very dangerous substance. Sai, are you looking anywhere specific in the captain's quarters?
Everywhere.
Alright, let's start with rolling a perception check. $16. You can stop whispering to me.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay. Do. Um. All right. So as you move through the captain's quarters, I had to pull back up the hidden stuff in here. The others in your group comb through the room for valuables, finding the maps and the documents. And as you kind of move through, you're almost drawn to the heavy wardrobe. As you creak open its doors, you see the coats and boots and other clothing that were in here, as well as a cracked mirror inside the door, a few spare buttons littering the shelves, but something looks off. The back panel smooth where the wood should be aged.
I'm going to try to open it.
How do you go about that?
Is there like a lock on the front of it, or?
You don't see any obvious lock or mechanism.
So I guess I'll just try to shimmy it open then.
Okay. Roll a sleight of hand check. As you move your hands across this back panel, trying to push it open in different ways, your hand runs along the grooves as your fingers find their way onto a knot in the wood. And as you put a little bit of pressure, it releases with a faint pop as a small hidden compartment reveals itself. Inside this compartment, there is a small iron key on a chain, a folded black silken sash embroidered with a blood red crescent, and a slim leather-bound book.
Okay.
With your perception check moving around the room, there is also seemingly in the bedside chest that a lot of the documents and maps were found in. On the inner seam, it has a false bottom.
Okay.
And that's easy enough to pry open. And you discover a small hidden hollow inside. There is a sealed envelope, aged and waxed in deep violet. The wax bears an insignia that you don't recognize. And then there's a half-broken locket, as well as a small phial of black, almost giving off a purple, like iridescent glow, dust, and a reinforced bound vial.
And can you go over again what I found in the first place I searched? Because I don't have all the details.
Yep, a small iron key on a chain,
Okay.
a folded black silken sash embroidered with a blood red crescent, and a slim leather-bound book.
Does the iron key look kind of like it would fit in the lock that I found on that thing?
Looks like it could possibly fit in it. Looking closer
I didn't know
at
if
the
it was a
iron.
large lock or a small lock.
I mean, it's a sizable lock, but this key could possibly fit in it. The key itself, giving it a closer look, is just subtly ornate. The faint outline of a cube etched into the handle of the key.
Okay. What is in the book as I thumb through it?
As you thumb through the book, you see inside tightly, like very small, written, ciphered notes, possibly coded logs of some sort, or some sort of correspondence meant for whoever wrote this to understand and view, but could be deciphered with some work.
Okay. And then, is there a picture in the broken locket?
There's a miniature portrait of a young half-elven woman and a child. It's pretty worn. And then, do you speak Sylvan?
No.
No. So, you don't speak it, but you do recognize the, like, calligraphic and kind of details of the Sylvan language. There is something etched into the interior of the locket in fine script.
I would have definitely taken that though, if I remembered.
You can take whatever of these items you want, or you could throw them
No.
overboard
I would
if
have
you wanted.
taken. I would have taken Sylvan as a language because of her background.
Oh, what languages do you know?
Veth'Arden, Elven, Common, Abyssal, and Celestial.
Okay, if you want to forget one of those languages, you can know Sylvan.
Oh my god.
So many languages all the time.
Well, yeah, every language she speaks has an entire lore reason. Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to take everything that I found down to Osric.
Okay, before you head back down there, 'cause you're up in the quarters for a little bit. Azric, are you opening any other crates, barrels?
I actually muted myself. I'd check the 3 stacked barrels.
Oh, there's actually 4 stacked barrels there.
4 stacked barrels.
Alrighty, so where's my crates, whatever. So the 4 large crates that are stacked, nailed shut. Where is that at? There we go. Are you doing them in any order, or are you just cracking them open?
I mean, I'd start with one to see, like, probably the easiest one to get to see what's inside, and depending on what's in there, depends on whether or not I would continue by myself.
Yeah, taking a small pry tool, you stepping up to the 4 stacked crates, you go to the one of the ones on top that is easier to access, and as you kind of pry at it, a sharp crack as the nails give way. Looking inside this first crate, it is packed with straw and lined with dark velvet, and you see several iron restraints, still stained in places with old blood. A few are simple manacles, others bear glyphs along their surfaces, and sigils, as well as small aetheryte stones kind of embedded in them. Tucked in one corner of the crate, you see a small, kind of deep gray leather ledger.
I'll grab the ledger. See what's inside.
And then it was called out to you previously because Terhook had seen it, so you would recognize the similar seal as to what was on some of the documents you had found earlier that mark it as Dread Reavers, one of Orlan Veskar's seals. Just kind of thumbing through it, it looks like listing names, prices, and purity ratings. Many entries are closed out or crossed out with red ink. And then a single note is scrawled at the bottom that just says, unshipped, send remainder to Milas for evaluation.
Oh, joy.
Do you go to the next crate?
Yeah.
Okay, cracking it open, you find rows and rows of small glass vials, each stoppered and sealed with wax. Their contents shimmer with a similar, familiar, semi-viscous black liquid-like
Like
material.
glass.
But these are refined, powdered, and packaged for use or sale. There's a single slip of parchment resting on top of these vials that says, alms for the drowned, a pinch for control, a mouthful for silence, a dose for obedience. It's about this time that Sai would be coming back down into the chamber.
I'd be putting lids back on as she's walking down there.
Yep.
Especially as I
Kevin.
hear her open the hatch.
Yep, easy enough to do. Are you trying to be quiet about it?
No.
Okay. So as you are
It would
closing
definitely
up-
be obvious that as, like, she would be, like, on the ladder basically coming down and hearing me, like, popping lids back on. I don't want to say with haste by any means, but there's definitely I've got to get this covered back up.
Right.
Find anything interesting, Azric?
Not things that we're going to talk about alone. I can tell you, if that is the key to open that chest, don't just reach inside and don't touch these barrels or these crates.
Yeah.
I almost want to tell you not to touch those ones either, but what did you find?
Yes, sir, Captain, boss. I don't. Anyway, I found this. She's going to hand him the envelope. While she tries to key the lock.
Find anything else?
Yeah, a couple of things, but do you know this insignia?
I'm going to make an assumption here that it's the Ashen Brotherhood, right? Or the Ironwake Brotherhood, I mean.
For the insignia on the
Yeah.
sealed letter?
Yeah. Oh, Ashen Oath. I was mixing two different names up. Yeah. Do I know the insignia on the letter?
Oh, the sealed envelope with the deep violet waxed seal does bear the insignia of the Ashen Order. Very similar to the ring that you found.
Yeah, I'm sadly all too familiar with this.
Sadly.
It's the same insignia that was on the ring that Terhuk and Darien found. And the same insignia that most likely that this captain of this ship used to run under.
Oh. Huh. Does
I
the
must
key work on the chest?
ask one last question.
Okay. Go
Did
ahead.
you find anything that resembles like a black dust or liquid or anything of the sort?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna show you that too after we open these chests. And she's gonna show him the file.
I need to be taking that, ma'am.
Sure, you're the boss. And she just hands it over.
This is a dangerous drug that if you was to consume it, there's not much coming back, I should say.
Well, as Rick, you're in luck. I'm not stupid enough to lick things that I don't know what they are.
Well, that makes at least one of the crew on the ship. I'm
Alright.
gonna be putting that in my pouch.
10-4. So you put the black, the file that she found with the powder in your pouch, and then sigh as you kneel beside the iron-bound chest. The air around you almost feels colder. And you grab the lock with faint salt corrosion and rivulets of black spots on it, and placing the key into it, the lock groans open with a bit of effort, protesting almost like old bones, and the latch gives with a metallic click that seems to echo throughout the interior. Do you open it?
Yep.
As you...
Is that...
Go ahead.
Sai's gonna take a deep breath, to kind of like center herself because she can feel the energy coming from off the box as she like slowly, like she's afraid something's going to jump out of it, lift the lid of the chest.
And as you lift the lid, there's a slight creak, and then the smell hits you. It's putrid. And inside, a silence so profound that it almost screams in your mind as you see packed in old straw and lined with threadbare cloth, now stiff with age and dried moisture, are the bodies of two individuals. The first, a girl probably no older than 16 or 17, her hair dark auburn with streaks of silver, is now matted and tangled, braided at one point but now fraying. Her features bear the elegant bones of a half-elf, though her cheeks are now hollow and empty, her hands curled in a final, futile effort to shield something precious, her arms wrapped protectively around the second figure, seemingly a young boy, no older than 5 or 6, also half-elven. His small body is tucked tightly beneath hers, as though he was cradled in a desperate attempt to keep him warm or calm. His face rests against her chest, one hand still gripping a strip of worn cloth that might have once been part of a doll or some sort of comfort rag or blanket. There are no visible wounds, no obvious violence, no blood, just stillness. And you would almost not know if not for the branded markings on the dried skin around their neck, marking them as slaves of some sort. They didn't die violently. They died waiting, hidden, forgotten. Their expressions, though slacked with death, are frozen in exhaustion, fear, and quiet resignation. The moment that you take this in, the temperature in the area, and Azra, you feel this as well, begins to drop considerably, and the lantern begins to sputter, and whispering begins again. She said it would only be a moment. Is it safe yet? He'll come back, the man with the grey eyes. No more shadows, no more dark, please.
Oh, sweet mother darkness. She's going to cuss in abyssal, like a long fucking a long strand of cuss words in abyssal as she sees this. And Sai is going to pray to Philoria for guidance.
Okay.
As tears fall and start staining her face.
Do you say anything specifically to Floria?
She's going to say, Philoria, be a beacon and help these children find their way.
Roll a religion check for me with advantage.
$19.
As you kind of look down at them and pray to the one that you serve, the hold grows very, very quiet, save for the distant creak of the timbers and the sigh of the sea brushing against the hull. Beside this open ironbound crate, hands trembling just slightly as you look upon the still forms of these two lost souls. You close your eyes saying this prayer. The still air shifts, the flame of the lantern nearby dimming, not extinguishing but shadowed, as if some unseen shape passed between it and you. The whisper of fabric brushing through nothing, a scent faint and fleeting, then silence, and then a flicker. From within the crate, just for a heartbeat, the boy's hand glows softly, not bright, not fiery, but a pale twilight blue, like the last glimmer of a fallen star, and it fades as quickly as it appears. The space around you begins to feel a bit different, softer, less alone.
Sai is going to softly give her thanks to Philoria because she knows what that meant. And she's going to clutch her medallion that she always wears.
Okay.
I'm going to like walk behind her to like pass by, like resting my hand on her shoulder as I kind of pass. And in abyssal, I'm going to say, slavery's never been such a pretty sight. As I go to wake people up.
Just leave her with her jaw on the floor.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sorry, are you doing anything else with the two figures?
She is going to softly put the lid back on the crate and think about the best way to bury two forgotten children.
Okay.
And then go back to bed because she has work in a few hours.
Sounds good. Azric, how do you wake up your two compatriots? As you walk into the room, their hammocks are swaying slightly with the ship.
I would like to note Darian is somehow sprawled completely like his legs are hanging out of the
Dangling off the
hammock,
sides.
dangling off the sides. You have no idea how he sleeps like that.
As I crouch to go underneath Desmond, I like tap the back of his legs, basically. Desmond, time to wake up. As I start to move over to Darian, pushing my way through, and just kind of like slap his foot. Darian,
Hey,
we've got a little bit of work.
What time is it?
It's late. But
Did
unfortunately
shift
for
change already?
everybody, it's getting close. But we've got to dispose of a few things first.
what do you mean work?
Thought we got rid of everything
It's
the
not
children left
time
lying
yet.
around.
This is not something the children left. Darian, my next step is to tip that cot over.
He just sort of falls out onto the floor, gets up. What are you doing?
Come on, Rabbit Man. Currently, there's a mess that needs to be cleaned.
I'm going to use control flame on the lantern after sitting it on the table to make it brighter in here by a little bit.
Yep, easy enough to do. Does the flame change color when you do that?
It'll change to like a whitish blue.
Okay.
All right, friends, gather round.
Well, do we have anything to drink? Parched.
You got 4 barrels of liquid-ish stuff right next to Azric.
We would have to check the kitchen.
I'm gonna go to check while we wait for everyone else. And I'm just gonna slip into the kitchen.
Looking into the kitchen, it is a small chamber. You see a few barrels of food that has now begun to mold and grow rotten. There is a barrel of water over in the far corner. How long it's been there, you're not sure, but it's at least water.
Would I have anything that may possibly be used to sterilize this water that they could drink again?
I mean, you could start a fire.
That sounds like a great idea inside the world.
So,
Is there any
looking at the
alcohol?
water, the water doesn't look contaminated in any way. It looks like it's probably been purified. It's probably a bit stale, as you don't know how long it's been down here. But it is feasibly potable.
And the spirits.
There are no spirits in here. Not anymore.
I'm gonna go back to my bag because I'm sure I'd have some.
Yeah, you probably have like a small flask or decanter of some sort of alcohol with you.
Nothing drinkable. And then I'm gonna go back into the room to grab something from my bag. Check.
Yep. Sure enough, you do have your trusty flask that has been quickly filled to the brim before your departure from Al Hajjad with whatever your most favored whiskey is.
I'll take a hearty swig before walking back out and placing it back inside my jacket pocket. Taking a seat over here.
Darian?
He does not look awake.
This will surely wake you up. Come over.
What is it?
Time to show you the worst parts of our life. As I open the chest or the crate.
Okay, the one with the bodies in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you two see. Well, first you smell it. The smell of deceased individuals who have been here for a while, and their dried and sunken features grasping each other within the iron-bound crate.
And I'm guessing I recognize this smell all too well, right?
Yeah, you recognize the smell. You also recognize the two individuals.
Oh.
Darian just startles back, gags. Oh.
As I close the chest back up.
I'm gonna make no visual reaction except to grab my flask, take a swig, and offer it to the bunny man.
Roll a deception check for me. Or performance, one of the two.
I'd like the insights.
Okay.
Oh, not insightful
Oh,
today.
can you edit my thing? It says never whisper rolls in my thing. So I can't
Yeah,
whisper it
I can edit it for you. Here we go.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
Wow.
Okay. Darian, did you want to roll insight as well? Or are you not awake enough for that?
Insight on what, my fellow party members, or
Beyond
Yes.
Desmond.
Desmond's reaction
I-
to the figures.
I mean, Darian's got other things on his mind.
Fair enough. Wouldn't blame
As
you.
this is happening, he just looks shocked, shaken.
As a flask is handed to you, Azric, you don't notice anything overtly different about their reactions. But Desmond, you do. Where is it at? Yes, you recognize these two individuals. The younger of which is Alrian. The older of which is Samael. Two elven siblings who were brought to you about a month ago in Al-Hajjad for treatment.
I need some fresh air. As Darian will lightning speed up to the top of the deck, over to the railing.
I guess you didn't sponsor me. And then I'm gonna take another swig.
Okay.
I plan to throw this crate overboard.
For the best. Would you like any, Captain?
I think I'll pass this time. No? I don't think I'm going to be able to get this crate out of here myself. We might have to get Darian to hold the wheel and Terhoop to help us.
I can go and fetch him as soon as he's done throwing up everything that he might have eaten. I don't know if I have anything that might settle his stomach, but as I sit there, I pause. Do I have anything that I can possibly use to give him, or like maybe anything I've seen inside the terrible kitchen?
To do what?
to help soothe the poor man throwing up top of the deck's stomach.
Oh,
Well, hold on.
everything. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Continue.
You could probably concoct something. Whether or not it would be edible if made from the items in the kitchen is very questionable.
I shrug. I doubt there'd be anything I could do to help him, but
Okay.
you may want to close that back up before the stench sticks in the area.
I
Or
did.
business. Oh, you did? When did I have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Darian, how are you doing up above deck now?
Not well.
Are you losing anything?
Oh yes.
Taruk sees this, I imagine.
So, do I happen to remember who brought these children to me?
Yeah, a man named Thalen Morix. He's brought you a few individuals in the past. You've never really asked too many questions because you were being paid a handsome sum for their treatment.
Well, of course. That's saying.
Yeah.
Morex being his last name?
Yes, Morix being his last name. Morrex.
At this point, I'm gonna kind of like put a hand to my temple. This is Morix's vessel, isn't it?
Reading notes.
I could tell you right now, the deed says the Captain
Yeah.
Thalen Morix.
Yeah, it does. I spelled it completely wrong, but this is indeed Morex's vessel, which means looks like Tahuk is not going to be here for the conversation after all. As I kind of turn to Desmond and sit down at the table. You know, your name was written in his notes.
Let me ask you a question, Captain. Where were you born?
Zahin's Landing.
In the slums, I assume?
Delphine.
I'm assuming you know what it is to struggle in life.
I do. But I've also never turned to slaving.
Neither have I. But not asking questions is something that I do enjoy being paid to do. I don't know what happens. All I know is they bring me people to heal, and I keep my mouth shut. A trait that most people like in backup. If I can't do that much, I will be driven out or killed. Do I feel bad for the children sometimes? Yes. But I just hope that they aren't enslaved or they're children of pirates. I don't have the bandwidth to go around asking, or even the nobility of someone willing to go out and stick my neck up for them. You saw me earlier. I was being run out of this town. I got a big target painted on my back for what I do.
Well, I'll choose to believe you for today, Desmond. I have no reason to think otherwise yet. But I've said it once, and there will not be slavers taken aboard this ship. So if push comes to shove and we find them, I will do everything in my power to kill them.
Go ahead. I have nothing against them dying. Hell, it makes me more money if I try and auction their lives off.
We're gonna have to explain this to Tahook too. At least eventually.
My past is no secrets. Anyone with a brain knows what I've done.
Well, do with what we can to get this crate out of here tonight, so we can wake Sai up for her rounds, and me and Tahook can actually get some sleep.
And the children, overboard they go.
Overboard they go. And if Sai asks about the crate, we'll just tell her we disposed of it,
Captain.
and I'm gonna start heading up.
As he walks up,
As-
I'm gonna
well,
take a moment. Oh, sorry,
Just
go.
before that, as you head up, Azric, can you roll a perception check for me?
Perception check. 13.
Okay. You weren't necessarily looking for it, and it is kind of out of the way behind the ladder that goes up and down, but there is a small floor hatch behind the ladder as well.
Oh,
You had
that
not
would have
noticed
definitely
before.
stopped me in my tracks. Kind of stop. Do you know anything about this ship, Desmond?
It's my first time on it, so far as I'm aware.
Is the hatch locked?
It is locked.
You don't happen to have any tools to get this open, do you?
I'm a back alley doctor.
I'm coming back into Discord. Bye.
Idea's back. Yay.
Hey.
Hey, he
Look at
returned.
a lot of those mortals.
He's no longer reincarnated as a slime. Alright.
So Kudo, while you were left, our characters are now level 20.
Well, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you've been on
Since-
so long. It's just we have a frigate now, or I don't know, several, maybe 10.
From the line ship, yeah.
We found another pocket gnome.
We
You
found a better
another
pocket though.
pocket gnome?
Yeah, we found another pocket gnome.
Okay.
This one's
Hey.
Alfred the Pocket Gnome. It's spelled like Alfredo though, so he might be Italian. We don't know.
Can anyone tell me if the stream is back up?
The stream is back up.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
She was here the entire time.
Let's
It
see.
actually finally was there the entire time, but the timer keeps resetting. It was at 2 minutes and something before.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is not live on YouTube anymore, but that's okay because I can upload the full video tomorrow.
Well,
Alright,
the one on
so,
Twitch is probably in pieces.
yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it, but Twitch is supposed to, like, fill the gap or whatever.
Nobody will hear us talking about how you got isekai'd
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was a great
from
conversation.
your second story apartment, and nobody will be able to hear what Luca has you saved in her phone as. So
Oh, that's fine.
True. True and real.
Okay, yeah, it did split it, so that's fine because I can just put them together and procreate.
and procreate.
One
and
section now
Procreate.
makes two.
Sorry, not Procreate. Premiere Pro. Hi, Binds. You got here just in time to hear us talking about procreation.
That's how
Okay.
babies are born.
By holding hands.
Yeah. Obviously.
Fierce hand holding. Don't act like it's some sort of like game. It's fierce hand holding.
Yeah.
Yep, and fucking salads
Oh.
over the freaking edge of the boat, apparently in the darkness of the water.
To recap you, Desmond rolled Thieves' Tools and he got a 13.
Yeah, I do see that. So, with your thieves' tools, you are able to pop the latch open. Inside, notes.
Yeah, always hate when notes are inside.
Yeah. All right. So, the interior is no more than 2 feet deep, and inside is an oilskin wrapped satchel tied with a braided crimson cord, 2 watertight scroll tubes, one bearing the broken wax seal of the Vorkal Sultanate, a curved dagger, its hilt inlaid with a deep black opal, and that's resting atop a folded set of documents. And then there's also a small lead-lined box wrapped in rough canvas.
Oh, isn't this ship just full of surprises?
And here I was hoping this is where he hid his alcohol.
So, what would you guys like to do with the interior items?
What do you say it was binded with the red rope stuff?
An oilskin wrapped satchel, expertly tied with a braided crimson cord.
Scroll tube, crimson braided cord satchel thing, and then a box.
Yeah, and then a lead-lined box.
Oh.
So, wrapped satchel, 2 watertight scroll tubes, curved dagger on top of a set of folded documents, and a small lead-lined box.
All right. Well, we should probably not touch the box quite yet.
Alright, that's what you
We'll
did.
at least kind of pull the stuff out.
Okay.
Oh, we could at least set this stuff on the table. Don't know. Everybody else knows about what this could be. But boxes like this usually contain things that we don't want to touch.
It was only that one box that had children in it, yes.
That is true. We didn't.
Good. Just trying to make sure we didn't have to lift all boxes out of there.
I checked 2 of the 4 at the front. I checked the barrels. We checked the locked one that's got the steel bandings on it. But there's still the stack of 2 there that we haven't yet.
I'll shrug and then walk over towards him.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the stuff and sit it on the table.
Yeah, and I'll like these chairs for boxes.
I'd like to do an Arcana check on the satchel that's nicely braided with crimson cord.
Okay.
See if the cord itself is possibly magical and sealing, I guess. Possibly trying to hold something inside.
Go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me.
Yeah, no, there's no magic at all.
You don't sense any magic or notice any like runes on the braided cord itself or anything like that that would make you assume that there's any sort of magical effects or attributes to it.
Desmond's checking the crates.
Yeah. So Desmond, as you begin to crack open the top crate, immediately the smell of old antiseptic and dried herbs wafts out as the lid is pulled back. On the interior, you find a canvas-wrapped medical kit, clearly like a naval military grade kit, complete with like bone saw, scalpel, forceps, stitching cord, and foldable brace tools. There are several tightly packed jars of powdered herbal agents. There's 5 sealed vials of some sort of liquid tonic. And then that's what you immediately see. If you want to do further investigation, you can roll an investigation check.
Immediately. Where is it? There you go.
23. Kind of moving around the interior items, you find that there is a false bottom to the crate.
And inside of it.
Inside of it, you find 3 tightly bound, like formed and packed into file, packed into jar-like vials of a blackened powder.
And do I know what this blackened powder is?
You can roll either a medicine check or a history check if you would like.
Yeah, I'm better at medicine, so that's it.
16. You've heard of it, and you know that like people that you've treated have used it, but this would be what is called void glass. It's a narcotic that is illegal for the most part. Also inside there is a small ledger book that you recognize because it went missing from your clinic about 3 weeks ago. A small ledger book with the initials DL scrawled faintly on the inside cover, and you begin to recognize your own shorthand.
Yeah, my hands are kind of sticky. I think that went missing.
Huh?
I'm putting it in my pocket.
Yeah.
It went missing. My hands are sticky.
If you're trying to do that stealthily, then go ahead and roll a sleight of hand.
Okay. Whisper that to you?
Yeah, send that to me. And then how observant are you currently being, Azric?
I would definitely be trying to pay attention, especially after already uncovering 2 different places in here that have void glass. And I don't know how many people know about it.
All right, 10-4. So go ahead and roll a perception check or an insight check for me.
Oh, I'm rolling hella low today.
Solid. So he does not see you, Desmond, pocket your ledger.
And as soon as my ledger's safely in my pocket, they were smuggling drugs, it looks like, under the guise of medical wear.
So there's more in that box, is there?
You
We
were
kind of
aware?
stand up from the table and kind of take a step over, pulling out the vial that Sai handed me earlier. More of this, I assume?
Except in bigger quantities.
The barrels up there in the front are full with unrefined void glass. You say that they were smuggling more than slaves, and a lot of it.
Would you mind helping me get this top crate down? I want to check the one.
I'll help him.
Okay. Easily enough.
And the bottom crates?
Prying open the lid on the bottom crate, you find on the interior, packed tightly with burlap and oilcloth wrappings, the interior fitted with wooden partitions to prevent shifting, 3 sets of fine restraints iron manacles lined with leather to prevent chafing, a collapsible cage disassembled and stored in metal sections with interlocking hinges, a satchel of silver-plated tools, like surgical tools kept pristine and separate from the others. These tools, looking at them briefly, are more for branding than healing. And then a wax-sealed envelope tucked behind one of the partitions.
I'm gonna reach for the gun. And as I'm reaching for it, I'm gonna go. You're not gonna throw all of this equipment off the butch as well, are you?
Never know when we might need to take a prisoner. Though, don't think we exactly need all of it. There is a crate up there that's got multiple manacles and etc. in it as well. I mean, a few sets on hand couldn't hurt, that's for sure, but we definitely don't want to look like slavers.
That's for sure. Dude, I don't recognize like this at all, right? Like the thing I'm going to grab.
You're grabbing the letter?
Letter. Yeah.
I mean, it's a sealed envelope. Are you opening it up?
Yeah, but like I don't recognize the stationery, right?
Oh no, not immediately. It doesn't seem like.
Oh yeah, then I'll just take it over to the light so I can open it up.
Okay. Opening it, you see notarized within a Port Authority seal from Osira, and that's in the Kingdom of Melja, tied to some slave shipment manifests. Several names match those which you saw in one of the ledgers that you found in the captain's chamber, Azric.
Well, I have no this. Here you go, Captain. I'm sure you'd make better use of it anyways.
Oh, I'm afraid that before we make it to port, we might as well set anchor and rub this fucking place clean. So, do you think we could move these drugs and hate to throw away a profit?
I'm sure I know a few people who might be interested in perhaps buying them.
We'll make a decision as we go, I guess. I'm gonna turn back around at the table and open up the oil skin pouch.
Okay. Can you also
Not reaching
roll,
inside, of course.
just roll an intelligence check for me, Azric?
Intelligence check?
Yep, just roll your intelligence. 18.
18.
Thinking back to some of the documents that you found in the captain's quarters, this cargo, specifically the void glass, is supposed to be being delivered to a cove to the northeast of Milas.
Oh, that's right. I actually have that in my notes here.
Specifically Glassfire Cove. All right, but opening up the oilskin wrapped satchel, it's expertly tied with this braided crimson cord, and when unknotted, a fairly surprisingly well kept interior. Inside, you find a leather-bound travel ledger bearing the name Thalen Morix on it. You see it records sparse travel logs. A lot of the pages are torn out or coded, but there are frequent references, just thumbing through it, to the drowned flame and the deep vaults. A recurring symbol appears next to certain entries, a stylized wave curling around a crescent moon. There's also a sealed letter unmarked but stamped with black wax bearing the sigil of the Dread Reavers, and a heavy cloth pouch that is tied off and sent shut, and a small brass whistle that is warm to the touch.
More stuff, but no answers.
I'm gonna check on Darian, see if we can help us to go through this in the box.
Yes, let's get these dead children off this ship already.
How's Darian doing?
Azric jumps into the ocean, and then, like a dolphin, springs forth from the waves onto the deck of the ship. Did you close
Second
up the
person to do it
satchel?
today.
Are you carrying it with you, or did you just leave it on the table?
I left it on the table.
Okay, sounds good.
Kind of get everybody together.
All right.
Duke,
Yes.
need some muscle in our lives.
All right. Though that usually means that you'd found something. Is that correct?
Uncovered a locked crate downstairs with 2 dead children in it.
Terhook pauses as is like almost frozen. 2 dead children, you say?
Half elves. My plan's to get it on the upper deck and to throw it overboard. The last thing that we need, I guess I should also say there's probably enough drugs down there to kill the entire kingdom.
Well,
Getting caught with drugs and getting caught with 2 dead slave children's 2 completely different things, I feel like.
so they were
Rather
slaves.
I'd rather be known as a drug peddler than a slaver.
Both have wicked. Can't believe that someone would do that to them. All right, well, I will help. Though I really wish we could organize a funeral, proper rite for the funeral, but I see we're running out of time.
Only got a few more days before we get to the port, and I'd hate for somebody to come aboard and find what we didn't do and blame it on us.
All right, as long as you permit me to say my final rites for Relius, and then
By
we
all
can
means.
do what we need to be done. And you can see, as I can see, that Terhook is like almost looks like he's gonna be sick, but he is just holding it together. Like he is more less being sick, but more like enraged. But it's like a silent rage of like he's not like yelling or anything.
Well, once we get that overboard, we'll end up setting a plan of action. I'd like to probably anchor at least a little ways outside of the port and scrub the ship at least somewhat clean from all the slaver shit. If we can at least get it all in one place and lock it up to where people with prying eyes or sticky fingers can't get a hold of it. Like I said, we don't want to be blamed for something that we're not doing.
Good idea. Who's gonna be in charge of steering the ship? And he has that one hand on the steering wheel.
I would like Darian to take over if possible.
As you say this, you see Darian. Darian, do you want to explain or expound on the state that you are currently in?
So, at this point, he is done with the thing he came up here to do, but he is just sort of like leaning on the railing, just sort of looking out down into the water. He does not look good. And I presume the good doctor is trying to doing something to help.
I'm doing nothing to help you. I'm standing here watching you make a fool of yourself.
Ah,
That's the good doctor for you.
You haven't asked
Yeah,
for
that
help.
sounds
I
about
have
right.
Nothing. I have nothing I can do to help you. We've already established.
I see. Yes.
Are you done throwing up bloods?
Dead kids
Yes, dead
in
kids.
the cargo hold. Why?
There's dead kids everywhere. You obviously lived a sheltered life.
You mean? I don't know where you're from, but
The salons. What do you mean?
I'd say it's normal.
Very.
See the rotting corpses of 2 dead kids stowed away on a ship.
You've never visited a Felband officer then. It's very common where I came from.
It's not good. As he just goes back out to looking at the ocean.
You think he will be able to steer through gas Ezric as they're just watching this?
Oh,
I mean, we
everybody's
could
first
try.
time's a little different. I don't know how heavy the crate is, but we could probably rig something up to pull it with some ropes. Whatever it takes to get it out of there and over the shipboard.
Darian,
No reaction initially.
I'm gonna kick you slightly. Hey, the column.
rolled on that 20. Kicks him to the ocean. Darian,
What is it?
can you please come over here?
He'll straighten himself up.
Also, for getting the crate out easily, you do have your lattice hatches on the ship, on the top deck, that look down into the interior. Those can be unlatched, opened, and used to pull cargo in and out.
I'm assuming that Azric would know that, but would anyone else know that?
Azric would
At least
definitely
have like
know
a
that.
shipwreck. Mm-hmm.
Alright, so what are you guys doing?
I'm waiting for them to come and help me lift this box off so I can go back to bed before the ship.
Alright, Darian. You take the wheel at least?
Hey. Just very quiet. Very
We'll settle
somber.
with time.
Who did this?
Popping open lattice hatch.
Easy enough to do.
Oh, was you gonna say something, Darian?
Darian.
I could stop.
Just a brief pause. Who did this? To them? To the kids?
Labus. This isn't the first time we've seen it. And unfortunately, it probably won't be the last.
Hey. Back to just keeping the wheel straight.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and tie the crate down here up so it can be hoisted up.
Yep, there's bits of rope and rigging next to the lattice hatches that can be used along with a winch to pull the crates up through the lattice hatch.
Rook was gonna try and assist Desmond in this task if need be.
Okay. Go ahead and roll athletics for me. Either both of you down there can roll separately, or one of you can roll with advantage.
You can roll with advantage. I will assist you here.
Athletics, right?
It's not a, yeah, athletics. It's not a high DC.
I believe in you.
I don't believe myself, but okay, let's go.
Good
I'm
thing you
glad.
had advantage. Yeah, 13. You guys get it all tied up and bound, and with the winch, Azric can easily get it up to the top deck. So, the crate is no longer in your hold.
All right, up and over.
Up and over.
Are you guys throwing the entire crate over, or are you just throwing the contents over?
That crate's
Uh,
fine.
I think the whole crate. I mean, not gonna like it's not tightly shut anymore, so
Is
it's
it
gonna end up
waterproof?
opening at sea.
I mean, you could relock it if you wanted to.
That would be pretty deep.
Is there anything here that could possibly weigh it down?
You poke
You
holes
just
in it.
pour it out and then throw it in. Give a light lunch to the sea creatures. Circle of
Yeah.
life.
Let's just throw it over.
I say my prayers first.
Aye.
I appreciate. He's gonna place his hand on the box. May
What's in the
Aurelius'
box?
blessing. Alright, that's in the box. May Aurelius' blessing guide you through these tumultuous times. Even though a light fades, the light will always be shining brightly, guiding your way. May it guide your way forward into the unknown. But know that you are once cherished, and you will be remembered. This I swear. In Aurelius' name. And he's actually gonna make like almost like a mark, with his finger on the box before bowing his head. All right. You can do the deed now.
Push it
And we
in.
push the box overboard.
Yep, and with a splash, it slams into the waves, and very quickly it is cast behind you all as the ship continues to move forward, and eventually you no longer see the crate in the water around you. With
Well
that,
then.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you do your thing first, because my thing is a different thing from this.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well then, like, time to swap posts most likely, but I was gonna ask how long the night has been, so.
It is about time to swap posts. You all, well, Azric and Terhook have been up for the last 4-ish hours.
Yep.
And Darian and Dr. Desmond were woken up probably about 30-45 minutes ago. So, as the swapping of posts begins, we will get ready to take our break. But first, let's do the little bit of the ad, which I did send Para and Pat a thing. You don't have to read that thing if you don't want to, but you do have to give a testimonial. So, I mean, you do you.
Who's going first? Is it me?
I'm going first. So,
Yeah.
Hey everybody, as we head into the halfway mark of this session, I just want to take a moment to talk about the character art for all of our characters here. I also have a thing that I want to show everybody as we move into this, which is actually I'll show it after the testimonials. So all of our art is done by an artist known as D1. That's D-O-N-E, and you can find their work on Etsy at the D14D store, all one word, and that is the number 1 and the number 4. And I can honestly not say enough good things about how they turned the character ideas into the art that we have right now. They even made my overlay image, and I am extremely happy with it. So, but all of the art prints that we've received from them have far outweighed what we expected and what we've used in the past. So if you are looking for something like that for your own games, whether you're a D&D fanatic, an RPG lover, or just have a cool original character that you want illustrated, head over to the D14D store at etsy.com/shop/D14D store. They're super easy to work with, incredibly fast, and can bring your vision to life with an amazing eye for detail. So let's jump over and listen to Para. Para, tell us about your art. What did you think of it, and what's up with Desmond?
Well, before I read this gorgeous prompt, I'm just going to say I commission a lot of art personally, and D14D is actually a gorgeous art style that I personally love. But let's hear what Desmond has to hear about it a little bit. I'm no stranger to patching up injuries in shady alleys or outrunning guards, but I've never seen myself looking so distinguished. D1 really nailed the duality of the character. The steady sturgeon's hand. Sturgeon? I'm not a fish! Oh my god! Sturgeon's hand. And the hint of, I might have to bolt at any second. If you ask me, the one thing sketchier than my past is not commissioning artwork from D14D store.
All right, so, and then let's hear from Pat and Darian.
Right. Well, I, the player, was, personally, really impressed with the quick turnaround on everything, and just how everything turned out. We look great. Let's see what. Bad take. Let's hear what Darian has to say.
Between leaping off pirate ships and belting out show tunes, I've got quite the dramatic flair. But D1's portrait has me looking cooler than a crowd screaming for an encore. Ooh. From the tilt of my ears to me dashing visage, they captured every bit of my theatrical hop. Yeah. Only I could get them to paint my next performance at the menagerie.
All right, so if you want character art that's just bursting with personality and detail, and if you want to work with somebody who's got a ton of experience, a good eye for detail, and amazing talent, go check out D14D store on Etsy and tell them that Critfire Games sent you. Again, huge thanks to D1 for making our party look so great. And just before we get to the adventure, I did receive 2 pieces of art from D1 about an hour ago. So let's look at these beautiful pieces of art. Yeah, so these were commissioned by us for possible player characters in this campaign that we didn't end up using, but they still made them and they still look great, and we might see them later on in a one-shot or something, or if somebody's character dies brutally when thrown overboard because nobody trusts them. Oh man, intrigue and pirates and stuff like that. But anyway, we're gonna go to break for like 5 to 10 minutes, so bear with us and we'll be back here soon. Thanks everybody. All right, and jumping back in, we find Darian and Dr. Desmond Leach on the deck alone for their portion of ship duty. So, is there anything you two want to do in your time when you're the only two awake?
I thought Sai was my partner.
Nope.
Yeah, nobody's
Sai's-
woken her up yet.
Sai's still passed out. Nobody's
Nope.
woken her up.
No one's looking around.
Yep. We were EP.
You guys can feel free to go wake her up if you want.
To the ones that are
Yeah,
awake.
I thought I was always supposed to be on this one, so I'm just assuming that like she's sleeping in the other shift. I have no clue because I wasn't actually there.
Okay, so
I was awake
So you-
earlier, so I let her
you're
sleep.
you're going back to bed, Desmond?
No, I'm still awake.
Okay.
I'll assume since he's the only other person here, I'll just kind of like, where's like one of the sturdiest places up here, kind of like you can still see that's out of the view of
Well, the sturdiest thing on the deck right now is Darian.
True.
In what sense?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, you know.
He does know.
Like, where would be somewhere that I can put my back up against while sitting down, where I'm not gonna have risk.
Darian!
Darian.
Arian.
This isn't turning
mean-
into a BL.
No, you're both men. This is a ML. Look, I'm just saying maybe you two should kiss at some point.
I'll kiss him when he's dead.
Okay. There's railing all around you that's all fairly solid that you could go and lean up against or sit down against. But there's no like chairs or anything up here.
That's fine. So I'll probably come over here, and I'm gonna have a light with me of some fashion, I assume.
Yeah, I mean there's lanterns on the ship and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down and then take a look at the ledger that went missing, making
Okay.
sure that Darian isn't paying attention.
Darius, are you
Darian,
Darian, are you paying any attention to Desmond?
sort of acknowledging his presence, but most of my focus is going to be on the wheel.
Okay.
At some point, I will say, Sai was supposed to be up with me to teach me some things, eh? Someone gonna go wake her up?
You seem to be doing fine. I don't see anything you can hit within a reasonable amount of time. If you're really that concerned, I'll go wake her up in the bed. Let's let her sleep. Unless you really think your body is lost.
Well, I'm fine on the wheel, but best we wake her up anyways, I think.
Desmond, these kind of sigh a little bit. You might just want to find something you're good at. But you're not gonna be able to hold your stomach at the sight of a few corpses. It might as well be a good helmsman. Make yourself indispensable.
And with that, I need Darian to make a survival check with advantage because Azric kind of pointed out the course that you needed to take. So go ahead and roll a survival check with advantage.
Why don't I go to the spells tab to make a survival check?
I don't know.
Did you thought survival was a spell?
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, we're getting lost again.
The seas get fairly rough for a little bit, and it is a little a little anxiety inducing for you, and there is some shifting where you get off course a little bit and you think you have it righted for the moment, just looking around, looking at the stars. And you've looked at the stars a lot in your life, but never in a navigational sense. But ship's still in one piece, it's still sailing. You think you have it back on the correct course.
And so, as we're going with all kinds of crazy, right? I want to make sure my journal isn't, or like that little ledger thing, isn't waterproof, right?
It is not waterproof.
after having reviewed its contents, it's gonna magically fly out of my hands over the side of the birds.
Okay. Roll a sleight of hand. And Darian, can you just roll perception for me?
Alright.
Okay.
Oh shit!
You, as you're riding the ship, you turn as you're talking back to Desmond about Sai, and you see him toss a ledger off the deck of the ship, and it goes flying into the water.
Yes.
Hey, it's nothing. Can you please go get Sai?
Hmm. If you wish. And I'm just gonna make my way down.
And then at some point before the next game, Para, we need to talk about what was in that ledger.
For sure. And is the door locked?
Sai, is the door locked?
Yep.
I'm picking that bitch.
Okay, full sleight of hand. You definitely unlock it. You don't need to whisper all of these rolls to me. Just when you're
Oh,
contesting.
right.
Just when you're contesting another player.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, no, I'm gonna step on side. Not really like being stealthy, just kind of like walking in, and then I'm gonna like shake her awake. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I would say
Sai
before you
wakes
even
up-
get to her. Yeah.
Sai wakes up before, like, as you open the door, because she spent 3 months on a ship with people she did not know or trust.
Boy, wake up. Those seas are rough. And then I'm just gonna walk back out.
Okay.
Sai is going to put on her boots and go up.
All right.
If I could control her token, which for some reason I can't right now.
Because that's the old one.
Yay, token!
There, now you should be able to move it.
Are you okay, Darian?
Seas are rough. Don't like it. I think I'm still on course. But
Hmm. Did Osric show you on the map where we were going?
don't I think he did?
Sai's going to pull out her compass. Which direction are we headed?
Hey Darian, can you roll a d4 for me?
Okay.
You are currently heading almost exactly east.
We should be heading northwest. And we're headed due east. We need to write this.
I assume that's, an easy enough thing to rectify with.
You
Yep.
you would think so. Let me get another survival check from you, Darian.
Just
this,
flat.
This isn't, yeah, just flat. This isn't to determine whether or not you can get it back on track. 20. Okay, so there's barely a shift on the interior of the ship. No heavy stopping or starting as you very gently curve the ship through the waves until the compass points the direction that you are wanting to go back on track.
So as that happens, I'm gonna come like walk here, stop for a second, say indispensable, and then walk down the stairs. Come over here. Kind of
Okay.
like over yourself.
What was that about?
Hey. Good doctor wants me to find me place on the ship.
Well, it seems like you already have, if you ask me. And she's gonna pat him on the shoulder.
I suppose. Yeah, this whole ship business is harder work than I thought.
It's only going to get harder, especially if we don't find crew. These have been fair seas so far.
Tripes.
You've done not very much seafaring, have you?
Not really. Only been on a ship once or twice, and not for long.
It comes quickly. Trust me, before my voyage to Aljan, I had never set foot on a ship before.
Where is it you said you were from?
I didn't.
No. No. Well, where are you from?
Nadira.
Oh, Idira. What's it like? Over there, across the sea.
Much greener. Much greener.
I've heard
Um,
stories of forests that go for miles. All around you, nothing but trees.
I've been to one such place there.
Ooh. Where?
It's actually called the Blightwood. It's a very prominent area in Nadira.
Ooh, the Blightwood. Ooh.
Yeah, it's quite beautiful with all manner of flora and fauna.
I've heard many stories about that place.
Yeah?
About its protectors. How they almost got wiped out 20 years ago.
I've heard those stories too since I was a little girl.
I mean, if you've been to the place.
Yeah, I have. A time or two. From, Al Nakaf.
Ooh. Ooh. I'd love to go and see it someday.
Yeah, I think it's worth a trip. Especially if you dock in Sylvanas where all the elves are. The beautiful tall golden women and men.
We
It's
have
quite
got to go there.
Yeah, you all should go there. Sai, realizing she's talking entirely too much and gabbing like a teenage girl, is just going to shut up and walk away. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Darian like goes to start talking about something, but just watches Sai walk away.
Okay.
She's
Never
gonna be
mind.
very busy checking these ropes. These perfectly fine ropes that need to be checked.
Oh, I already checked that. That's why I was walking around earlier.
Yeah, and she's rechecking them to make sure you're not trying to kill us all.
Why would I do that? I'm also on the boat.
She doesn't know you. She
Alright.
thinks everybody on this boat at all times is going to try to kill everybody else on this boat.
As the hours pass, and you guys shift between who is guiding the vessel and who is sleeping. The sun begins to crest in the sky as the two moons of Veth'Arden slowly fade in the sunlight. You all can have the benefits of a long rest, so that means anyone who took damage can heal.
I got my 3 hit points back.
Yay,
Oh,
1 hit
yeah.
point back. Hell yeah.
All right. So, as you all awake for the day, is there anything that you guys immediately want to take care of?
Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to take inventory of the medical supplies that were the cover for the drugs.
Okay.
And then kind of move them somewhere where they could be usable at a moment's notice.
Yep. Easy
I'm
enough.
gonna go over to Sai real quickly. Sai,
Yes.
do you mind if I keep some of these medical supplies we have in your room? It just makes the most sense to have them somewhere where we can easily get to them on deck without them being out on deck.
Some of them, sure.
Alright. I'm gonna move some of them in there. If you want, you can come with. If not, you know what I'll be doing.
Okay.
He's mostly saying this with like the tone of like he's not trying to steal your shit.
Sai's just sitting here like, why is everybody reporting to me? What the hell?
It's more of a
Second
your
command.
room.
Okay. So, Azric and
Okay.
Tarhuk, as you guys awake, are you guys doing anything specific?
Yes. As for Tarhuk, is the sun rising at this point in time, or has it already risen?
The sun is rising at this point in time.
All right, Tarhuk is gonna get up. He's gonna give them both a smile as he leaves his chambers and be like, "Good morning." And they'll see that he's holding his sword in his hands, like with the scabbard. And he is basically going to be facing the rising sun while placing the sword on his lap in a cross-legged manner while he sits down. And it seems like he's praying.
Okay.
Yep, and he also has like some sort of like scented oils that they could probably smell from his location that he's putting on the blade while he is chanting under his breath.
Alrighty. Azric?
I'm coming out kind of surveying the area more than anything, trying to make sure that we're still on course.
You seem to still be on course.
Also, the door to Sai's room is open. Like you can probably see me sitting at the desk making inventory stuff.
Well, seems like things are at least in order. Is Tarhuk on top of the fucking hatch?
He's basically facing the sun. Sorry, I forgot to move. So if they're
Oh.
moving north,
Yeah. Alright. Alright, I'm going down below to go through some of this shit. And I'm going to return to the table.
Is
Alright,
it someone
there's
else's
still,
turn on helm?
Yeah, there's also still 2 of the crates towards the bow that have not been checked yet.
Darian screaming for help.
Hook is gonna give him like a side glance, like once I finish my ritual, I will take care of. I'll relieve you of that duty. And he's going to go back to just chanting.
Darian impatiently back on the wheel.
Just really needs to pee.
And Sai's like, not my problem.
I'm sorry, what?
Darian's like, "Help! Someone help me!" And Sai's like, look, watching on like,
Oh my god. No, sorry, I was typing in my notes and got tunnel vision. So I will help.
There you go, Darian. Some relief, so you don't have to steer the ship anymore.
Thank you.
Not a
Relief, so you can
problem.
relieve.
Okay. So, moving down, what are you doing, Azric?
Going through the scroll tubes and the documents and stuff like that we pulled out of the hatch.
Okay. So,
He doing captain shit.
you have the stuff that was in the oilskin wrap satchel, which had the sealed leather and the leather-bound travel ledger, as well as the heavy cloth pouch that was cinched and closed, and the small brass whistle warm to the touch.
Yep.
And then opening the 2 watertight scroll tubes. They require a bit of effort to open them without, like, throwing everything across the room when you do get it open. The first one is what seems to be a naval chart of the southern Greycroft Sea, detailing currents, pirate activity routes, and marked safe harbors. There's a trail traced in dark ink from Anchorport in the Arashi Depths heading into the Greycroft onto a small island cluster. And then in the margins, a scroll that says, "Not just myths. The ring is there. The breach opens. Only at full tide and empty moon." And then scroll tube, the second one, has a
1 second.
decrease.
So you said from Anchorport in the Greycroft to the Arashi Depths?
No, Anchorport is in the Arashi Depths. So this
Oh,
map shows the southern Greycroft and where it meets the Arashi Depths. And there's just a marker that says Anchorport in the Arashi Depths that is leading to an island cluster in the southern Greycroft Sea.
All right. I said not just myths. What?
Not just myths. The ring is real. The breach opens only at full tide and empty moon.
Okay. Second tube.
Inside the second tube is a decree signed by a lesser functionary of the Vorkal Sultanate, marked confidential. It acknowledges the shipment of, quote, living property for reallocation, referencing several unnamed holding facilities along the coast near Al-Hajjad and Milas. The seal on this decree was already broken, meaning it has already been read and possibly copied by someone aboard. The folded set of documents that were found in the small hold was a trade manifest listed as non-inventory cargo to be delivered to a vessel named the Hollow Scribe. No port of origin is listed, but the recipient is a just a signatory initials of DF. And then there's also a torn journal page with a drawing of what looks like a crude black cube with glowing corners that just says Vault of Chains, Lost or Hidden. The Ma remembers.
Does that trigger anything?
The Ma triggers some distinct things with you.
Yeah.
You don't recognize the drawing, though. And then there's also a letter written in childlike handwriting that is addressed to Sam Aiel. It says only, "Tell Mama we're safe now. We'll be sailors soon. They say the stars will carry us." And the paper is stained with salt and a single tear-shaped watermark. Do you open the lead-lined box?
No, I definitely put the lead line box in my backpack for now.
Okay.
Along with the journal page of the crude black cube.
Got it.
I put that. I probably wouldn't put that in my backpack. I'd probably put that in like. I'd probably put that back in one of the tubes and then keep that like on my person, like in. To where like it'd be protected if I was to go under the water, but I also know that like. It would be probably one of the more important things to me at this point since it mentions the maw.
Right. Okay. So putting are you putting like the lead line box and the other materials back in the small hatch, or are you leaving them on the table?
I'm putting most of it back. Well, no, I'm gonna end up putting most of this in like a chest in the captain's quarters that we could actually lock to. Because I figured the hatch isn't like super hidden, is it?
No, it's not hidden at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up putting most of this shit in like a chest in the captain's quarters that we can lock and not have to have prying eyes look at.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the dagger. Anything special there? I guess do I need to do an Arcana check for that?
Oh yeah, you can do an Arcana check on the dagger.
All right. 17.
This is the dagger with the yeah, the curved dagger with the deep black opal. Alrighty, so looking at it, there's a few distinct things that call out to you. I want to make sure that you
Still there.
Did we lose him again?
Oh no, not the
Sorry,
isekai.
I got there was a bit of a connection issue. I am back again. Fun
Damn you,
times.
There's distinct things that call out.
Yeah, sorry. There's a few distinct things that call out to you on this dagger. First of all, as you studied the curved dagger with its deep black opal set into the hilt, there's a sense of familiarity. Your fingers trace the faint runes carved along the blade's edge, burned not into the steel, but alchemically hardened void glass. The weapon hums faintly, and you've seen something like this before, not in person, but in some texts that were brought in from a few travelers coming through Delphang. This is no ordinary blade. It's a ritual dagger of the Order of the Ashen Oath. A item used to do ritual sacrifices to the volcano in Zahan's Landing. Back in long days past. Angmir, that's the name of the volcano. But that was all done under the name and orders of oh gosh, I can't remember my own people's names. I know his name because his name is, looking through my notes, Order of the Ashen Fang. There we go. Not Ashen Fang, Ashen Oath. Under the orders of the Ember King Silvarin. So you remember reading some notes and texts about this from a traveler who came through the tavern in Delphang. And what you know about the Ashen Oath is obviously that they were zealots, sworn to Ember King Silvarin in days long past, back in the Age of Ruin and beyond. There's something about the black opal embedded in the hilt that is off-putting. That is almost drawing you, and you feel a tinge of stinging pain in your hand. The hand that you keep covered at all times.
Well, that's not fucking good. I'm gonna kind of belt the dagger a little bit. I mean, is it sheathed at all?
It does have a leather sheath.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of belt the sheath in the dagger to myself, like stick it in my belt to where I can actually carry it a little bit as I kind of start to gather everything together.
Yep.
And take it back upstairs with me.
Okay.
I'll let other people kind of move before I start to climb up. I figure this took some time.
Yep. What has everybody else been doing in the last 20, 30 minutes?
Stay in a boat.
Steering a
Steering a
boat.
boat.
Go ahead and roll a survival check
He's-
for me, Sai.
Oh no.
What do you mean? Oh no.
You sizing the ship. Oh well. Incoming.
No, we just
Suddenly-
swim. homie.
Suddenly you hit a glacier.
As life will go on, just plays in the background.
Oh my
8.
god.
The seas are getting,
Well-
are getting pretty rough. You have your compass, so you're still going in the right direction, but it is a little bit turbulent. And as Azric's down in the hold trying to sort through this stuff, there is definitely some shaking and shifting beneath the deck. Same with Darian and Darian Desmond and Terhook. You guys feel shifts in the ship as waves kind of break and hit the side of the vessel. And Terhook, being so close to the edge, you almost find yourself stumbling over the
Playing
railing
off.
before catching yourself and looking over at Sai as she gets back control of the ship.
Taruk's going to just place his sword back on his, and just luckily he closed the vial of oil before this happened. And he's gonna walk back over towards Sai. Do you need any assistance? He asked with a. Or do you have everything under control? Because if you do, then that's fine too. Trying to be helpful as he. Is the boat still shaking or?
There's still a little bit of it's just
Okay.
rough waters right now in general. Let's see. About this time, Azric coming up above deck. Who wants to roll for the daily travel table?
I say we make the captain do it.
Yeah, I
It'll
said
be a
make
different
the
person
captain do it.
every day, but we can start with the captain. So
Let's start with the captain.
Azric, go ahead and roll a d20 for me. 2.
2.
Okay. And then that is going to be. Yep, that's what I thought.
I don't like the sound of that.
Go ahead and roll a d100 for me, Azric.
41.
41. Okay. So as you crest onto the deck of the ship, Azric, are you doing any interactions with everybody?
No, I'd have been more trying to keep everything together to where I could get it put away. So I'd be, I mean, I'd maybe give like a nod of like, you know, hey, how's it going? But I'd be more thinking about what all I've gone through at this point and what all is left to do.
Okay.
Be okay before demise.
Yeah. Not demise, most likely.
Most likely.
Most likely, wasn't so sure.
So, as you're going into your captain's quarters to lock stuff up, right?
Yep.
Alrighty. About this time, as you see Sai kind of struggling with the wheel against the rough waters, the sun above, usually blazing above the Greycroft, hangs behind a quickly growing, bruised gray clouds that are almost unnaturally still. The wind begins to die down. The sails of the Axebeak hang limp for a moment, as if the whole world around you is holding its breath. And then a crack of thunder, distant at first, but it doesn't stay distant for long. Within minutes, the sky erupts. A howling gale rips across the deck, slamming the ship with sheets of rain so thick that it blurs the line between sea and sky. Waves begin to rise like beasts, slamming into the hull and sending you all, as well as the crates in the hold, you hear skidding across the floors. And this storm hits like it was waiting, just beyond, silent, swift, and merciless. Lightning forks in the sky, illuminating dark, swirling clouds that spiral downward in a wall of wind. Your ship lifts hard to starboard, the rigging groaning. Sails whip wildly, and suddenly, this is no ordinary squall. This is a test. So, we will end it here for tonight and pick up next time with a skill challenge as you guys have to deal with the wrath of this storm. And the way skill challenges work is you guys will have to get 4 successes before 3 failures. Each player can use a different skill depending on how you contribute. Creativity is encouraged, and one person cannot use the same skill more than once. So, thanks everybody for watching. We are going to end here for tonight as the ship is bombarded by a massive storm. And check out Twitter for when we will be streaming next. Thanks everybody for watching, and good night, everybody.
Night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Night.